the rocket fire marked a dangerous escalation, shattering a period of relative calm and raising fears of a wider regional war. The international community watched anxiously as tensions spiraled. Israel, vowing to defend its citizens, responded with airstrikes on suspected Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. The exchange of fire, though initially limited, threatened to draw both sides into a deeper conflict. The situation was particularly volatile given the complex geopolitical landscape of the region, with various actors and interests intertwined. The October 2023 flare-up served as a stark reminder of the persistent threat of conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. Despite a history of wars and skirmishes, a lasting peace remained elusive. The underlying tensions, rooted in territorial disputes, political ideologies, and historical grievances, continued to simmer beneath the surface. The events of October 2023 made it clear that these tensions could easily erupt into violence, with potentially devastating consequences for the entire region. Shifting sands escalation and the September 2024 offensive. The conflict entered a new and more dangerous phase in September 2024. Following months of sporadic clashes and escalating tensions, Israel launched a major offensive against Hezbollah in Lebanon. This operation, significantly larger in scale and intensity than previous engagements, marked a turning point in the conflict. Israel deployed significant military force, including ground troops, airstrikes, and artillery bombardment, targeting Hezbollah strongholds, weapons depots, and infrastructure. The offensive resulted in widespread destruction across Lebanon, with entire villages reduced to rubble. Hezbollah, though significantly impacted by the offensive, maintained their capacity to retaliate. They fired rockets deep into Israeli territory, reaching major cities including Tel Aviv. The civilian populations on both sides bore the brunt of the violence, enduring fear, displacement, and loss. The September 2024 offensive represented a significant escalation in the conflict. It signaled a determination by Israel to degrade Hezbollah's military capabilities and weaken their grip on southern Lebanon. However, the offensive also carried significant risks. It raised concerns about a wider regional conflagration, potentially drawing in other actors like Iran, Hezbollah's main backer. The international community, alarmed by the escalating violence, called for restraint and a return to dialogue. Israel's objective: beyond retaliation. Israel's stated goal in the conflict extends beyond mere retaliation for Hezbollah's rocket attacks. They aim to create conditions that allow for the return of Israeli residents displaced from their homes in northern Israel due to the fighting. The presence of Hezbollah, deemed a terrorist organization by Israel and several Western countries in southern Lebanon, is seen as a direct threat to the safety and security of these communities. The Israeli government argues that a lasting solution necessitates the demilitarization of Hezbollah and their removal from the border region. This objective, however, presents a significant challenge given Hezbollah's entrenched presence in southern Lebanon, their military capabilities, and their deep ties to the local population. The displacement of Israeli citizens has become a rallying cry for the Israeli government. They argue that their citizens have a right to live in peace and security, free from the threat of rocket fire or cross-border incursions. The return of these displaced residents, however, is contingent upon achieving a level of stability and security that remains elusive in the current environment. A fragile hope: the potential for a ceasefire. As of November 25, 2024, there are glimmers of hope for a ceasefire. Reports suggest that Israel and Lebanon, through international mediation, have tentatively agreed to the terms of a ceasefire deal. This fragile agreement, if implemented, could pave the way for a cessation of hostilities and a return to dialogue. The ceasefire, however, faces significant hurdles. The situation on the ground remains volatile, with both sides wary of the other's intentions. Mutual distrust, fueled by years of conflict and broken promises, casts a long shadow over the negotiations. The international community has welcomed the prospect of a ceasefire, urging both sides to show restraint and abide by the terms of the agreement. The coming days and weeks will be crucial in determining whether this fragile truce holds, or if the region plunges back into another cycle of violence. Section 5, Resolution 1701, a framework for peace. UN Security Council, Resolution 1701 adopted in 2006 after the previous Israel-Hezbollah war, has re-emerged as a potential framework for a lasting peace. This resolution calls for the cessation of hostilities, the withdrawal of Hezbollah fighters and weapons from southern Lebanon, and the deployment of the Lebanese armed forces in the area. Lebanon insists that any ceasefire agreement must adhere to the principles outlined in Resolution 1701. They argue that the resolution provides a clear roadmap for achieving a sustainable peace and ensuring the sovereignty of Lebanon. Israel, however, contends that the resolution was never fully implemented, with Hezbollah maintaining a significant military presence in southern Lebanon. The differing interpretations of Resolution 1701 highlight the challenges in finding common ground between the parties. While the resolution provides a framework for peace, its successful implementation requires addressing the underlying issues of mistrust, security concerns, and political differences. Section 6. The human cost, casualties, injuries, and displacement. The conflict has inflicted a heavy toll on both sides with a devastating human cost. In Lebanon, over 3,750 people have been killed, and at least 15,600 injured since the conflict began in October 2023. The fighting has displaced over 1 million people, forcing them to flee their homes in search of safety and shelter. In Israel, Hezbollah rocket attacks have caused injuries and property damage in northern and central regions of the country. The attacks have disrupted daily life, instilled fear in the population, and strained the economy. The ongoing conflict has exacerbated existing social and economic challenges, deepening the humanitarian crisis in the region. The human cost of the conflict extends far beyond the immediate casualties and injuries. The trauma of violence, displacement, and loss will have lasting consequences for individuals, families, and communities. Rebuilding shattered lives and infrastructure will require a concerted effort from the international community. Section 7. Diplomatic efforts and international pressure. The international community has been actively engaged in diplomatic efforts to de-escalate the conflict and find a peaceful resolution. The United States, through mediator Amos Hochstein, has played a key role in facilitating dialogue between Israel and Lebanon. The European Union, through its foreign policy chief Josep Borrell, has called for increased pressure on both sides to accept the U.S. ceasefire proposal. Borrell has stressed the need for a sustainable ceasefire that addresses the root causes of the conflict and prevents future outbreaks of violence. The diplomatic efforts have focused on securing a ceasefire, addressing the humanitarian crisis, and creating conditions for a lasting peace. However, these efforts face significant challenges, including the deep mistrust between the parties, the complex geopolitical landscape, and the potential for spoilers. Section 8. Key players, navigating the path to peace. Several key players have emerged in the ongoing efforts to navigate a path to peace. Amos Hochstein, the U.S. mediator, has been instrumental in facilitating dialogue and bridging divides between Israel and Lebanon. His deep understanding of the region and his diplomatic skills have been crucial in bringing the parties closer to a ceasefire agreement. In Lebanon, Prime Minister Najib Mikati faces the daunting task of maintaining national unity and navigating the complex political landscape amidst the ongoing conflict. Nabi Berri, the Speaker of the Lebanese Parliament and a Hezbollah confidant, plays a pivotal role in influencing Hezbollah's stance and shaping Lebanon's response to the crisis. The actions and decisions of these key players will significantly impact the trajectory of the conflict. Their ability to build consensus, bridge divides, and find common ground will be crucial in determining whether the region moves towards peace or plunges deeper into violence. Section 9. An uncertain future, challenges and opportunities for lasting peace. The future of the Israel-Hezbollah conflict remains uncertain. While the potential for a ceasefire offers a glimmer of hope, significant challenges lie ahead. The deep mistrust between the parties, the complex geopolitical landscape, and the potential for spoilers threaten to derail the fragile peace process. Despite the challenges, opportunities also exist for building a lasting peace. The shared desire for stability and security, the exhaustion from years of conflict, and the potential for economic cooperation can serve as building blocks for a better future. Achieving a lasting peace will require a multifaceted approach that addresses the root causes of the conflict, promotes dialogue and reconciliation, and fosters a culture of peace. It will demand political will, diplomatic skill, and the unwavering commitment of all parties involved. The international community has a crucial role to play in supporting these efforts and ensuring a future free from violence.